Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us here on Public Affairs. I am your host. My name is John Peterson. Today, we're talking with the mayor, as we often do, by the way. We're talking with the mayor of Marion, Ohio, Mr. Scott Schertzer. We're grateful to have him, so let us welcome him. And Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for coming. And it's been a eventful year, so we probably have a lot of things to talk about, and we'll get into those shortly. But anyhow, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's good to be with you on Public Affairs as always. This is our Christmas edition of Public Affairs.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Santa Claus to burst through the back doors, but I haven't heard any jingles yet. So look forward to closing out 2021, and I think a lot of us are really looking forward to a much better 2022.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this is kind of like tying up loose end here. But you just concluded a leaf collection service, and people need to know that that is now concluded.
Yeah, that's right. Every year in the fall, when the leaves start to come down and drop in your yard, we always do a leaf collection. We ask you to rake them down to the curbside or in your tree lawn or devil strip, whatever you want to call it. And we come by with these big vacuum trucks and suck up the leaves. We actually went one extra week this year picking up leaves and picking up yard waste. So I just wanted the viewers to know that since we're wrapping up the calendar year, we are done doing that. So if you didn't get it done in time, or we missed you for some reason, I would encourage you to call the city garage and make arrangements with them. We need to take that equipment that they're using and transition it into the snow and ice program that we're going to be talking about in a minute. But this is a very popular leaf and yard waste program. We will start yard waste collection sometime in the fall, and I'm sure that you and I will be talking about that in February or March to let folks know when we're going to collecting curbside yard waste collection and some of the details and some of the things that we ask you to do when we provide that service to our residents.
Well, and also the viewers need to know that not all cities offer that.
That is a true statement, John. They don't, and that's why it's very popular here, because I know a lot of mayors throughout Ohio that when they find out we offer a service like that, they're rather envious of us here in Marion that we can offer such a service to our residents.
Yeah. So that is just to point out one of the marvelous things, the perks of living in Marion, Ohio. Okay, so we are now in late December. We haven't had any major snows, but we're going to have them, I'm sure. Winter is here, which brings up the subject of snow and ice removal. And I know that you're prepared for that, but perhaps the public would like to know exactly how you prepare for that.
Sure. Well, obviously we haven't had any significant snow and ice events this year in 2021. But I think we can all anticipate that changing once we get into the heart of winter after the first of the year. We always prepare well in advance of the snow and ice season. In fact, our street superintendent, Scott Kurz, he came to the city of Marion through the Ohio Department of Transportation. So he has a lot of experience in dealing with snow and ice. It's a little bit different when you're dealing with city streets versus a state highway, but nevertheless, he knows how to prepare for it. So we're preparing our equipment right now as we speak, making sure that the snow plows are on, the salt spreaders are attached to the back of our dump trucks. We've actually ordered additional equipment, but unfortunately there's such a backlog on getting equipment like we need that we haven't gotten it yet. We're hopeful that we'll get it before the snow and ice season is over in 2022, but you may hear a lot of things about not getting equipment in time. It's not our fault, it's not their fault, it's just a system fault, if you will. So we're working on that, but we have a full salt shed. We purchase our salt through bulk programs through the Ohio Department of Transportation. The problem is when we get a lot of snow in central Ohio, Marion City is not the only one that needs to replenish their salt supplies. Marion County does, ODOT does, and all the surrounding counties around us need to replenish their salt supplies also. So sometimes we get backed up with the supply chain when it comes to salt. And that's got nothing to do with the supply chain that we're experiencing nationwide right now. This is a salt-specific supply chain issue because there's such a demand all at once. But we believe that we have enough equipment to get through the season. We have enough manpower to get through the season. And as long as the state of Ohio can provide the salt that we need, we will be in good shape here in Marion City to prepare for the snow and ice program that we know that is ahead of us.
So do you actually buy it from ODOT or through ODOT?
Well, we buy it from ODOT through their purchasing program. Actually, we have a minimum amount that we have to purchase, and then there's a maximum that we can go over. If we go well over that maximum amount, we're going to start paying a higher price.
Yes.
The reason we do this is because we get the best price for the taxpayer for the salt that we use on our streets.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge right there in itself, because they look back at the last 5 years and say, okay, what's the average tonnage of salt that we've used over the last 5 years? And then we base it on that. That's why we have that little over or little under that we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
But if we have a really bad winter where we're using salt a lot more than we have in the past 5 years, that's going to be a challenge for everybody in Central Ohio.
Yes, I can certainly see that. So when we get together here and talk, one of the things we often talk about are jobs. Any new jobs that you can inform us of?
Yeah, right now what we're doing is we're starting to take applications in the Marion City Police Department. We hope that we're going to be able to hire a couple police officers the first of the year. So this is a process that you have to follow if you're an applicant and you're interested in law enforcement. It helps you out a great deal if you have a criminal justice or a criminology degree. Mm-hmm. It's not required, but it helps. It helps if you've gone to some place like Marion Technical College and gone through the law enforcement program. It also helps if you have a military background, because ultimately what happens is you're going to get points for those three things that I just mentioned. You also have to take a civil service test. Now, this is a national testing program that we use. So you don't physically have to come into City Hall and sit in the conference room and take the civil service examination. You go to National Testing Network to take the test for law enforcement. So you have to do that before January 18th of 2022. And then we'll also take your test scores into consideration, because the applications are due on January the 19th of 2022. You have to have those applications in. You have to have that test taken before 2 p.m. on January the 19th of 2022. And then after that, you will take a physical agility test. That will be administered right here in the city of Marion by our Marion City Police Department. You'll have two opportunities to take the physical agility test. One of them is Wednesday, February the 2nd at 5 p.m. The other one is Saturday, February the 5th at 10 a.m. So again, the classes that you have, the military that you have, the civil service test, and the physical agility test, you get points for all of that. So then you will be put in a list on who has the highest number of points, and then that's where the Marion City Police Department starts the interview process.
Wow. That was very thorough and complete. So if someone wants to be a police officer in Marion, they have to have made a certain amount of preparations, if they want to score high enough so they might be chosen for interviews.
That's exactly right. And if I went through all this too fast for anybody watching, probably the best thing for you to do is call the Human Resources Department in the city of Marion, Ohio, and you can talk to Amy O'Connor, and she can go over all this with you again, because everything I just said, she gave me this list, so she knows it too.
Very good. And just so the viewer understands, that's the reason I asked the question the second time, or ask it a different way the second time, because it helps for retention and understanding. Okay, so we're right up against the holidays, and the holiday hours are going to be different than normal, and perhaps you can help us understand.
Right. What I do is I tell everybody before you come to City Hall, whether it's right before, right after Christmas, right before, right after New Year's, always call ahead and make sure the department that you have business with is going to be open. Some of our departments will be closing early, some of them will be closed all day long, so that's why you need to check. If you have business with the Marion Municipal Court, they run a totally different schedule than what the departments that I am responsible for as mayor. Same thing with the law director's office, the city auditor's office. Those are elected positions, and they set the hours in their offices. So, for example, we're going to do sanitation collection in the city of Marion. We will not do them on Friday, December 24th. We will not do sanitation collection on Friday, December the 31st, because that's New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve day. So City Hall is closed those days. None of our departments will be open. Of course, we have certain departments that are open 24/7, 365, like the police department and fire department, but many of our departments will be closed on those days. Also, Marion Area Transit will run a shortened schedule on Thursday, December the 23rd, so the day before Christmas Eve day, and the same for New Year's Eve day prior to that as well. The Senior Center will be closed on Friday, December 24th, on Friday, December 31st, and then we will get back to normal at the beginning of the year. So the bottom line to remember is simply this. If you're going to have business in Marion Municipal Government, please call and make sure somebody is there, whether it's the engineer's office, the safety director's office, the city auditor's office. Call first to make sure we're going to be open, because our hours will be skewed a little bit because the holiday actually falls on a Saturday this year, and we normally take the day before a national holiday off.
Yeah. Very, very good. We talk often about the quality of life in the community, and the infrastructure, while that may seem to be a kind of an unusual word relative to quality of life, but it certainly pertains to our quality of life, and most specifically sewer projects that we've done. Now, there's nothing fancy about a sewer project, but it certainly improves the quality of life. We have talked about the need to continue to do sewer projects because of the need that we have here, and it's being done in a scheduled approach going on. So I'm assuming, therefore, that the sewer projects, there are some that have been determined, and has that process begun?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We not only do we follow the Ohio EPA requirements and guidelines that we're sometimes forced to, but we have what we call a long-term control plan, and that is something that the Ohio Department of Environmental Protection Agency requires us to do. And so we follow that long-term control plan, and that's why we're planning 3 sewer projects for 2022. These are sanitary sewers, storm sewers, with often all the infrastructure that goes along with that. When we tear up your street, we're going to tear everything up. We're going to put new laterals to your house. Something that we also have started the past 3 years is a check valve program. So when we do a new sewer project, we offer to the homeowner a check valve to prevent it, or a backflow preventer, sometimes they're called.
Yes.
To prevent that sewage backup from getting into your homes and protecting your property, which is oftentimes your most, valuable and expensive investment that you make on your real estate. So those are 3 things we're doing next year, and we will start those projects probably late winter, early spring, if weather permits. But again, look for us again this year to do 3 sewer projects as we have been doing the past couple of years. And then, of course, there's that federal infrastructure money. We know that more money is going to be opened up to local governments through infrastructure improvements. And if we apply for that, and we're fortunate enough to get it, we may do more sewer projects in the years to come. We don't know what the parameters are of that infrastructure federal money yet, so we might not see that come to us until 2023, but we got those 3 projects all teed up and ready to go for 2022.
Well, okay, so let me see if I understand this correctly. A sewer project is going to be done, and therefore the sewer lines from each of the residents that pertain to that line, if you will, there are options available to the homeowner for the homeowner at the homeowner's expense, I'm supposing, to have a check valve added to prevent backflow into their dwelling. Did I understand it right, number one? And number two, is that the homeowner's expense?
Well, you are exactly right, and it is not the homeowner's expense. We have built this into the cost of this sewer project on your street. So it's a good opportunity for a homeowner to take advantage of this backflow preventer or check valve program that we installed a couple of years ago. We kind of ran a test run on it for the past couple of years. We think it's working well. We've gotten good reviews on it. So we want to continue to do it with our sewer projects that we do. And again, 3 of them next year. There could be a lot of backflow preventers installed on these projects.
That's really good news, because not to get into the weeds of why a check valve or a backflow preventer would be good, but if you're living on the street where that's going to happen, you're going to have ample opportunity to gain more information about that when the time comes.
And I would suggest that everybody take advantage of it, because if you did it yourself, you could be paying out of your pocket anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 to do it. Since we're already there, we've got the lateral exposed because we do connections to the main line.
Sure.
We can put that backflow preventer on while we're already there.
Yes. So the next question, to some of our viewers may find that there's more going on that they perhaps didn't know about. So it's called community improvement. A lot of community improvements have been done. We've talked about them when they were going on, and we've talked about them having been done. Oftentimes we wrap the year up by kind of reminding everybody of what has been done, and perhaps some ideas as to what we're going to do in the future. So any way you can give a wrap up about what has been done and perhaps what's coming up?
Sure. This was the first full year that we did the Love Our Neighborhood program. That's where the city of Marion identifies a neighborhood, and we go in with our sanitation crews, we go in with volunteers, city employees go in, and we do a comprehensive cleanup. Maybe it's removing brush out of somebody's backyard, or that volunteer growth that has grown up on the side of the house, and removing it just makes it a safer neighborhood. We also pick up a lot of trash, and that's trash that accumulates in the garage, in the backyard. We also work with Casey Thomas, our code enforcement officer in the Marion City Police Department, to work with people who have abandoned vehicles in their yards. Really, we go into some neighborhoods where there can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more junk abandoned vehicles. So we'll work with you to get those removed, and this is the time to do it in a Love Our Neighborhood program. We will start in March of 2022 to do our first one. They're kind of fair weather fans. They like to do it when the weather's generally a little bit nicer. So that program was so successful in 2021. We started it in about the fall of 2020 that we want to continue this program throughout 2022. Another program that we're working on is the restoration of Lincoln Park Stadium and the baseball field. The first time we did some renovation there, it was through a state capital grant. And the state has opened up that program again, and we're going to apply for additional monies to continue the restoration of that 1930s style stadium and baseball field.
Wow. So just some of the perks from living that you have as living in Marion. And also, that may I say that this love your neighbor project, if you will, actually will enhance property values.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The Love Our Neighborhood program, we really encourage the folks that live there on that street when we're doing it to get out and get involved and maybe meet a neighbor or get to know your neighborhood better and help out a neighborhood who maybe can't do it themselves.
Yeah, very, very, very well said. So I understand there is a Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, survey that's about to be conducted, and it has to do with determining what the transportation needs of citizens in the county that are elderly and or disability needs, and it's a county-wide thing, not city, not Marion Area Transit, but it's a county-wide thing, and it's a data survey. Can you tell us more about that?
Right. So most people may know that we have a couple of different types of public transportation. We have our senior transportation run out of the Marion Senior Center. So you have to be age eligible to get that. And then we have Marion Area Transit, which is really for anybody that needs public transportation. The Ohio Department of Transportation is a department that is taking a look at public transportation. We get a lot of dollars in grants for our transit departments and through the senior transportation program. So through the end of January, they are asking Marion City residents to call the number on your screen and take a quick survey to make a determination whether the transportation needs are being met by older Marionites and disabled peoples and persons in our community. And this is a ODOT's attempt to take real data to see how they might better enhance the public transportation that is offered here in Marion City.
So if you have, as the viewer has, a need, they live in Marion County, they're senior folks, they're elderly people, or they're just disabled and they have those kind of needs and need help getting around. Anyone that qualifies in that whole area should call that number.
And that's exactly right. And we're especially looking for folks that don't live in the city.
Yes.
Because we already offer these services if you live in the city and you qualify. So we're really reaching out to our partners in Marion County residents that fall into this category right here on your screen to take this quick survey so that we can make data-driven decisions about improving and or expanding possibly public transportation to those that need it the most.
So it's quite possible that there's a new transportation service in the future for Marion County. That's a really, really, really big thing. So we're about to say Merry Christmas, but
Well, just one more point on the transportation, since we still got the phone number up there. Marion Area Transit and the Ohio Department of Transportation works with a third-party kind of transportation consultant. They're known as RLS and Associates. So that's really who you're going to be calling and talking to. It's not going to be an ODOT person per se. So they'll collect the data, they'll formulate it, they'll put a plan together, and then they'll present it to the Ohio Department of Transportation from that point on. And before we leave altogether and say our farewells for the year, I do want to mention about the 2022 budget real quick. So also, we are going to be voting on the 2022 budget here in the city of Marion. And a lot of folks may not understand the administration, this is a real partnership. It's not just the mayor and his staff putting the budget together, but we work closely with department heads and directors in the city of Marion, but there's also a good working relationship with the Marion City Auditor's Office. And right now we have a new Marion City Auditor who was appointed to the position in late November. Miranda McGinnis is the new Marion City Auditor. So we kind of tag team together to present it to the legislative body in municipal government, which is City Council. And because this is an election year in Marion municipal government, the new City Council will vote on this. So the first meeting of 2022 will actually be on New Year's Day, January the 1st, in City Hall. And the new council members will raise their right hand and they'll be sworn in as new council members, and we'll be swearing in a new city treasurer at that time. And then the only item on the agenda should be the 2022 budget. So a vote will be taken, and hopefully that it will get passed, because all the things that we just talked about are contingent upon passing the 2022 budget. I can't hire new police officers if we don't have a budget. Right. We can't do sewer projects if we don't have a budget. Right. We can't do yard waste pickup and leaf collection next year if we don't have a budget. So it's very important that the 2022 budget gets passed on January 1st, and then we can get back to doing the work that the people of Marion expect us to do.
You know, you just went down through a list of things that very, very important. And I know the budget is not something that's very nice to talk about.
Well, we do an annual budget. Yes. The state does a 2-year budget. The state's budget starts on July 1st every year, runs for 2 years. Ours is annual. It's a calendar year budget.
Yes.
So it's January 1 to December 31st.
Yes.
And we pass a budget every single year. It has to be balanced, and it is. We have a lot of grants and revenues coming in, so look forward to that.
And the key word that I heard in what you just said, it is a balanced budget. Those are rather rare these days and times. So we have come to the end of 2021, and a lot of good things have happened, and we've talked about them. And I want you to know that we here at TV39 very much appreciate you coming every month and talking about the issues that are vital to us all. And so we just want to say thank you for all of that service that you've enabled us to provide to the viewers. And so Merry Christmas to you for all of that.
Well, and I'd like to thank everybody at Public Affairs, this team that helps put this on. John and his wife is always sitting out in the audience. You never get to see her. But I want to wish everybody here at TV39 a very Merry Christmas, a safe and happy New Year, as well as everybody in the city of Marion. 2021 is a tough year. Let's pray that 2022 is a better year for everybody here in Marion.
Amen. And folks, thank you very much for tuning in here and participating with us in all of this. Again, I am your host, John Peterson. Thank you for being here.